I got for selling me clothes, tuppence for selling me blanket. If ever I list for the soldier again, devil shall be me sergeant.
Right, well, good afternoon, ladies and gents. A little while ago, Speaky Woods, me, David Fries, he's a firebug. Everything was soaking. It had been raining for days. And what we decided to do was to get one of my little stoves going, but only using what we had there with us, i.e. no accelerants, no fire starters, and nothing more than a ferrocerium rod, or fire steel, whichever you want to call it. Something that's been on my mind for a little while, and I'll tell you for why, is when we use a fire steel, okay, and this is a mega one, when you do that, just notice this dispersion. No, the wind's taking me straight away. The dispersion. That's it. No wind. The dispersion of the where they're going all over the place. Okay. Once you make the spark, you've got no way of containing it or concentrating it. So that was something that was always on my mind. And when it was wet, ladies and gentlemen. So what we'll do is I'll scientifically, it's been raining here for days, but I'm in my back garden because I'm just testing something out. I'll recreate the wet conditions. Yep, that's wet, okay, so there's no grey areas there. So, and this can be the wet ground, wet leaves, whatever wet surface as we were using on that day, okay. So all I'm going to do now is do what we normally do, because nobody's stupid, is try and dry it off as much as possible. And for testing purposes, ladies and gents, nothing too flash nor fancy here. It's just some wood shavings that I actually picked up from the wood when I was with Ginger Bruce one morning. Went over to see it at his new place there. There was a load of this on the floor. Not being daft, I stuck it all in a bag. So we all know that your tinder has got to be dry. You're flogging a diddles if your tinder's not dry, ladies and gents. But what I'm going to do is just grab a bit of this now. It'll probably work just to make me a liar. But it's very, very hard when anything's damp to actually get your fire going. And it'll probably go on this occasion. Just again, I've got the problem of wind getting in there. Okay, I'm on a damp surface, but the wood is very tinder dry, and obviously we know that would have to be. And an added complication, I hadn't thought about it, I've got the wind kicking in there, which ain't really helping at all. I'm freezing cold, soaking wet, and I need to get a brew on. Right, well I've managed to do it. It's lit a little bit there, but it looks like it's going in. Now ladies and gents, I did want to get that on fire, but I don't need it on fire. But then obviously you've got that problem there when it is a light to transfer it as well, okay? You can try and do that, but you end up knocking the stoves over or whatever. So I'm just going to get rid of that at the moment. So, wet surface and my sparks going all over the place. Not exactly where I wanted them to go. So yesterday, Mike Smith, when he got rid of his sofa, bless him, he upgraded, he had the sense and wherewithal to take a bit of the leather off there. Now that's a small piece of it yesterday, so initially I had a thought of just doing it with that on a spare bit of leather. Okay, it's working, but I still got the dispersion problems, okay? So there's one thing, but I've cured that. I've now got a dry surface that I'm carrying about with me. It's only a slim bit of leather. So on that, what I did, and we can see here quite simply, ladies and gents, you can sit here and do this by hand. You do not need a sewing machine. Make sure I'm in shot for this. All I've done is gathered the two edges in like that, and then as you can see on this side I've sewn it down there. Okay, I did it on a machine, but you can do it by hand, no problem whatsoever. This is a little bit of leather that don't actually weigh nothing. Now I've got the wind kicking in from that side, which is something I hadn't thought about, to be perfectly honest. I'm thinking about wet. So this is just dry tinder, none of our specialist, you know, fire lighters and Vaselines and all that. So let's just see if I can still achieve the same aim. So now you can see that now, okay. I'll bring it round, ladies and gents. Whatever fire steel you're using, I can now put that up there. It stops this dispersing, which we all know happens and is a problem. And hopefully we'll see this. I'll try it on another one just to show you. This is Mike Smith's one. So this is just what I want you to see what will happen to your sparks, okay? And I'm going to bring it, it's going to be difficult with the angle, okay? Can we now see that all them sparks are either hitting the side, the little hood, and bouncing back? Very, very concentrated sparks. And that's the old fire steel and the striker that was kindly given to me by Dave Outlaw. So there you go, ladies and gents. Look, a little bit of leather just solved one problem. Again, I'm always working on a wet surface, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do just to make it a bit more scientific is make it a really wet surface. Okay, we're all happy with that? Yeah. It's a really wet surface, which traditionally wouldn't be too clever. So again, one hand swipe, well, two hand swipes there, okay, because nobody's going to do it in a puddle. So I'll reintroduce that one, and this is actually my one because it's the prototype, and it's quite nice when you make a prototype, it kind of works. And we'll see how effectively it works or not now, ladies and gents. Right, there you go. And now, without burning my hands, I have the ability, let it catch, turn it over, and as we can see, oh, I transferred it to the box. Okay, so my fire's going from a wet surface into there. I'll show you exactly me doing that again, okay? So I'm going to put a little bit of your whatever tinder you want in there. The wind's not affecting it as much, and it's going to the two hoods left and right will concentrate and stop me my sparks going all over the place, ladies and gents. So second demonstration of the movement. Okay, there we go. You can see the wind. Let it take, lift it up. And again, if you've got gloves on. Now, ladies and gents, I have this principle you keep hearing me say about it: KISS, keep it simple, keep it stupid, and it will work. Does anybody not see the value in carrying a little bit of leather like that, which weighs nothing? There's your fire steel. That's how I'm going to carry mine. See that? And then that will go in the pouch, so it's always there. When I've got this, doesn't matter about the wind or rain, it will work. I'll wet it all again, just so we can see it. The stonking wet. Quickly as it takes me to get another lot. It's still soaking wet there. Normally you'd have no chance of getting a fire on this surface, and we have got the wind kicking in there. So let's do the third test just so there's no grey areas. There we go, ladies and gents. I'm going to let that catch a little bit. I ain't got a flat now. Normally if that was on a flat surface you'd have the problem of picking it up. Okay, I'm going to grab it by the end. There we go. So no real damage to there. It's a bit of leather. It's going to get dark. It's going to get charcoal. But in between, it was more than enough to protect my hands in there, ladies and gents. And again, this piece of leather, you know, it's about 2 inches. You make it the size you want by well, length of my hand. So that's what, 6 inches there. Okay, and make sure I'm in shot there of that. When I put my fire steel in its patch, which I'm now going to go and make, I'll just push that inside there, and you can see it's soaking wet underneath, ladies and gents, yeah, but not affected it, it's not come through. I am ever so happy with that. Let's just see if I can get, as you know, I do love these little fire starters. Let's see if I can get one of these going. You have to just cut the plastic off these. Mind you, I do love these, but let's see if I can get it to work. That's caught first time. Again, I'll leave it burn for a bit. It's at the bottom of the screen here, ladies and gents. But again, when it's burning like that, I've still got the transportation issue. Maybe I've just solved that as well, okay? We all know now the old B&Q firelighters, barbecue should I say, firelighters. Absolutely love them. 50 for £3. You can't chuckle. There is also, I'll tell you what, sorry to keep you boring there, but if you're going to test something, test it. A little bit of fat wood. Let's just see. And again, it's with Dave's scraper. If you buy his fire stills, you get one of these as well, which I think is a bloody good idea. Yeah, it's just taken off nice little bits there. Okay, it's in there, and again on that wet surface still. I'm going to stop it from being blown about, protecting it from the wet, protecting it from the wind, stop it from being blown about, and when it goes into that little hood, it's just concentrating my flame. So that's a little bit of fat wood. Let's have a little go with that. Oh, there we go, ladies and gents. Look, I'll let that burn in there for a little bit, just to show it's not instantly going to catch on fire. You haven't got to flap about too much. It ain't going to do no harm. So that's a little bit of fat wood. You just see me do it. I do everything real time. There's no mucking about. And there's a transportation issue solved as well. So, ladies and gents, let your eyes be your guide on that one. For virtually nothing, perhaps the old Tightwads come up with an idea. And again, it's not done too much damage anyway. It's just a little bit of leather. That's quite easy to transport around with you. Just keep it with your fire still. Three things: protects it from the wet, gives you a dry surface, stops your tinder from being spread about when you're actually striking your fire steel, and will concentrate the sparks. Now, ladies and gents, I've not seen anybody do this. I can't really claim any ideas original because we live in 2016. I'm sure I've just not come up with something that nobody else has thought of. Bit of leather sewn up into a hood. But what I will say is another little idea here and that as well. So again, you let your eyes be your guide. This is something I always carry about with me. That's the cord that I know works for a bow drill. You get the bow drill from anywhere. That's not the crucial part of it. So I'll loosen that a little bit, because what I really want is that, ladies and gents. There is something else, and I've seen a lot of people do that, putting a dry leaf. Well, yeah, you go out in the forest anywhere around here and try and find a dry leaf or a dry surface that you can put underneath your piece of wood there. Again, and here we would have it set up to do a bow drill. Okay, because I'm not a girly, and it's not sissy, I have made one of these. It was the first one I ever lit a fire with. Okay, and then I brought it home and I've just put a skateboard wheel nut in there. Okay, araldite it in. And that's a nice little handle, fits my hand perfectly. So, and again, obviously we can see the value in that, ladies and gentlemen. Once that bow drill is going down there, and it's going down there, all your hot ashes, okay, it's going to drop right onto there. It's somewhere that's dry. You can leave it, you can pick it up so you can blow it without blowing it away. Does that make sense? Because I've seen them blow away before now. Okay, if you imagine that's your little, put something in there. Yeah, see, it helps when you blow into it softly, helps when you pick it up like that. But then also, remember that little leaf or whatever, you have to transport that to your bundle or whatever, and I've seen people come a cropper on that. Okay, so on that, obviously, I'm just picking it up like that. So I've got my hot ember there is, and then I can prosecute that, obviously, by blowing it into, you know, the tinder bundle in between. So, ladies and gents, for the fire steel, got to be done. I think I've just proved that. Just concentrates that spark right in there. None of it gets away, or very little. And when you're doing your bow drill, obviously you've got a place where your embers can drop onto. You can just pick it up like that. Again, it'll stop it from blowing away too much in the wind. And there's the transportation issue, and I've all seen everybody burnt their fingers or catch their fingers, which is what I do in that as well. So ladies and gents, I'll give you, this was the first one I did and it worked, so I thought, wouldn't it be nice if there was a hole there so you could just push, see there, there's a hole there, it just sewed a little bit there. And what I'd done is I sewed it up so it went, my fire steel, Outlaw Dave one, would go into it, and literally that will go into. So my idea there was that I could set the fire in there, and then once it was alight, push it through and into there. But in between, as you push it through, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. Show you what I mean. Because this is something else that I thought of. This is like the Mark II. And there we see it in there, and there we see the hole. So just give us a moment, I'll get that going. And there we see the issue. It is going, but I'm depriving it of oxygen because it's in that tube. You see it going, ladies and gents? Yeah, and what I was aiming to do was literally just push it through like that. Now some of it has survived, but most of it's gone out. So I've kind of been, that idea has not been too brilliant. Gone back to the hood method, and I'll give you one last demo because I know you was impressed. I was. Like I say, I've never seen anything like this or anybody do anything, not claiming it's like a Tightwad, you know, straight off the bat idea, because I'm sure somebody else has thought about it, because I ain't exactly the most intelligent bloke in the world. But there you go, ladies and gents, it's in there. It's just normal wood, no accelerants whatsoever other than the fire steel on a very wet surface. Yeah, I ain't got a flat now, let it catch about. There's a bit of leather, I'm not worried if it gets too burnt. I can still grab it by the top there and transport it into whatever cooker or fire or tinder bundle, whatever you wanted in it. Anyway, ladies and gents, it's getting a bit long now, but here we go. They're not hard to make, because that's my one. I always keep my prototype. And again, we've seen some extensive firelight in there. There's a little bit of stiffening of the leather, which ain't a problem, but here's how easy they are to make. There's one, that's one for Mike, that's one for, you know, the big fella. They're very, very easy to make, and I'll just pick another one. Gosh, I love doing this. But for a tiny little bit of leather, this will just mean the gifts are, oh, I say gifts, it's a bit of bloody leather in it sewn up. Will be field tested, lads, whoever gets this one. There we go. Again, I've not got a flap, not got a worry. All I've got to do is transport it. Which it has done, ladies and gents. So there we go. Anybody see any value in that? Because I certainly do, and like I say, I've made a few of them for the guys down my way that I meet up with. Hopefully other people think that's a good idea. Easy to do. Keep it simple, keep it stupid. It solves a multiple of sins or problems, ladies and gents. So thanks for watching, and I hope that sort of we're going to see a few people making these, knocking these up, because anything I come up with, there's no you know, if you're making one for yourself, absolutely brilliant. But let me know how you get on with it, or if anybody can improve upon that design. And the only thing I thought was having that tube there so you could push it through as opposed to tipping it, but you're cutting down on the oxygen in there, and when you push it through, it almost puts it out. Not in all cases, but you know, it's just not a, there's no advancement over tipping it over. And I've still got a little bit in there, ladies and gents, so I'll get it out. Again, let it develop, transport, and at no time have I burnt my fingers. That one doesn't want to come out, but that's not a problem because I can just pull it out like that. So there we go, ladies and gents. There's my one, somebody else's one. Let your eyes be your guide. Hopefully that's of help to you. Tightwad out.